What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we've got an episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly to provide for you guys, where we look at the previous week for the Chicago Bulls, dissect, I guess, everything in that nature. I'm not going to really give out awards this week. At the end of the day, I am extremely, even till now, very frustrated with the Chicago Bulls. So I might just skip the award side of things and just go straight to what we have to look forward to in the upcoming week, ladies and gentlemen. We will be returning to the United Center very soon. So that will be a big positive for the Chicago Bulls. In all fairness, we versing the Wizards in that. I think our first game back and stuff like that. And we'll just have to wait and see how the Chicago Bulls can fare, I guess, once they return home. But it's not just over yet. We've got one more game out west to look forward to as well. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, the overall week that we have that will be coming up very soon, as well as the previous week for the Bulls, where they actually went 1-2 over the course of their games, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I feel like at the end of the day, I'm kind of, I guess, I wouldn't necessarily say defeated, but I'm definitely lacking, I guess, the confidence in the Chicago Bulls team, to say the least. And at the end of the day, I don't really know if I have any faith left with this team. But obviously, at the time that we versed the Utah Jazz, I did have some faith in this team, and we actually won this game 114-107. It was a very strong second half performance. Their first half, the Utah Jazz were much, much better, and their offense got stagnant. Our defensive pressure picked up, and we walked away with a win against the Utah Jazz. It was a very well-rounded performance, in all honesty, and Utah didn't necessarily have that go-to guy that other guys had throughout the course of the next couple of games that really helped them over the line. However, in saying that, it was still a good win against Utah, but they did lose 4 in a row coming into that game, and they obviously they have lost 5 in a row. I don't necessarily know what their record is currently at this point in time. But then we move into the next game against the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix, where Devin Booker dropped 51 points. DeAndre Ayton dropped 30 points. And the Chicago Bulls lost this game 132-113. I'm not going to lie. When the Warriors game came about, and after that Warriors game in which we lost, and I said I was done with this team, I feel like the game before that in the Phoenix Suns was the reason why. I was absolutely so flustered, so frustrated. I zoned myself out of the actual game itself. And that's probably when I truly felt it. But the Warriors game really, I guess, just pushed me over the line to actually say what I needed to say about the Chicago Bulls team. But the Phoenix Suns game was much worse, let's be honest. 51 points by Devin Booker, the easiest 51 points I think he'll ever score in his life. DeAndre Ayton with a very good 30-point night as well. Devin Booker also had 6 assists throughout that game as well. So everybody contributed alongside of Devin Booker's amazing night. So that was a really appalling game, probably one of the worst of our season. But again, how many times have I said that over the course of many, many games, ladies and gentlemen, where this loss was the worst of our season, or this loss is the worst of our season? The fact of the matter is we've had many, many devastating, humiliating, and very bad losses. And Phoenix is definitely up there. Then the last game against the Golden State Warriors, we lost this game 119-111. All I can really say about this type of game is that we did well to come back, but once again, we were still 19 points down in that game. And that is really our biggest issue. We get to huge deficits and we have to fight, scratch, claw, bring all the energy we can come up with to try and come back just for us to lose the game as well. That's happened way too many times throughout the course of the season as well. Just as much as we've lost big time, there are other times where we fight back and we continue to lose because our deficits, our lack of game management has been a very huge problem for this team. And that's really what we felt against the Golden State Warriors. Overall, 1-2 record, negative record, and it looks like we'll be exiting the West Coast trip worse than when we entered it. And that's one of the things I didn't want to see. At the very beginning of the West Coast trip, I said I wanted to see this team enter leave the West Coast trip with a better record compared to when they entered the West Coast trip and stuff like that. And it didn't happen. We're going to actually leave the West. I believe if we beat the Kings, we'll be 2-3 in the West, I believe it is. We lost to OKC, we beat Utah, we lost to the Suns, the Warriors. If we do beat the Kings, we will actually end up 2-3, still having a worse record than when we first entered. So not very good, ladies and gentlemen, in all honesty. But again, this Bulls team is simply just not very good. But we've got 3 games to look forward to next week, ladies and gentlemen. 2 of them are at home, so I'm happy to see that. I really want to see if this United Center crowd could really give something to this team that they've been missing over the course of this West Coast trip. I want to see if the energy is still there. I want to see the reaction this Bulls team gets, because there is a lot that has actually, I guess, gone into this so far. And I'm not sure the type of reaction the Bulls players will get. I think they'll be very supportive, the Bulls fans. But let's just say the Wizards are blowing us out by 20, 25 points at halftime. Are they going to boo this team? Because I feel like they deserve it, in all honesty. I don't really know what's going to happen in that instance. And it wouldn't be the first time that the fans have booed the Chicago Bulls players. But obviously, the first game is going to be against the Sacramento Kings away from home. That will be in a couple of hours' time. Sacramento is a very good offensive team, not necessarily the best defensive team. So the Bulls got to find a way to bring their defensive energy in this game and hope our offense is somewhat capable to try and beat this Sacramento Kings side. But ladies and gentlemen, they're not going to be easy. This is not an easy game. This is not the Sacramento that we had to deal with 2-3 years ago. This team is completely different. This team has transformed. And most importantly, this team is playing very, very well. So if we're going to come into this lackluster like we always do, we're going to get blown out in this game. We cannot let that happen, ladies and gentlemen. Then we return home against the Washington Wizards. We recently lost, or I wouldn't say recently, but we've lost to the Washington Wizards before, our second game of the year. Yes, arguably the 2-minute report said we could have won that game, shot the free throws and everything like that. But a loss is a loss. We count that as a loss. The Bulls lost against the Washington Wizards. This will be at home, which should give us an advantage. We've played them before, should give us an advantage. But at the same time, knowing the confidence levels of this Bulls team, I don't necessarily know what I'm going to see from this game against the Washington Wizards. But I'm hoping we can find a way to win in this game. The last game is going to be against Luka Magic and the Dallas Mavericks, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, I'm sure you would know, most people know, I absolutely love Luka Doncic and I really do rate that Dallas Mavericks team. I don't necessarily think they're having the best of times at the moment, but Luka's a very dangerous player and he's definitely not someone that we want to be messing with, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a good track record against Dallas in recent times, but that doesn't count for anything, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, track record or not track record, this game is going to be very important as well. And judging by how the other 2 games go before that, it could be extremely important by the end of the week, ladies and gentlemen. And then obviously the next game would be against the Atlanta Hawks. It's a back-to-back, but since that is played on a Monday for me and a Sunday for you guys, I'll leave that for next week's Bulls Weekly, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to end this video here. I'm apologizing for not giving the awards and stuff like that. I just don't feel like the players deserve it. I don't necessarily want to give player of the weeks and talking about how great some of these players are when, simply put, this team doesn't deserve that satisfaction. This team doesn't deserve that praise. Some players simply don't deserve that praise either. So I'm not going to do it until I really see something worth giving awards to. I want to see better performances. I want to see better consistency. And that will make me give awards to these players. But until I see that, I don't feel there is a point. And I think I'm wasting my time doing it. And I'm wasting your guys' time doing it as well. Because I'm guaranteeing you 99% of people are not going to be happy if I'm giving awards to a losing team. A team that's supposed to be winning and losing as well. This was a tanking team, fine. But this isn't a tanking team and we are losing. So no one deserves awards. And also, one more thing. I've recently heard Zach LaVine make some comments about Billy Donovan saying that the starting lineup changes was not necessary and stuff like that. Basically taking small shots at Billy Donovan once again. Not the first time this has happened. I don't know what it is with Zach LaVine. I don't know what his problem is with, I guess, targeting Billy Donovan. But I think Zach LaVine needs to focus on his job and let Billy Donovan focus on his. At the end of the day, the changes were made because guys like Zach LaVine are not pulling their weight as much as they should be for a guy that's worth a max contract, $250 million or whatever it is, and should be playing as such. Guys like Zach LaVine, you can even say guys like Vucevic, whoever it is, they're not pulling their weight that much, and other guys will have to suffer for that. If realistically, if we saw Zach LaVine struggling the way that he is, there would have been an easier chance that he got dropped if he wasn't being paid that amount of money. But he is. And he's a good player. I'm not saying Zach LaVine is not a good player at all. But I think he needs to focus on his own game, focus on his own health, focusing on getting back to 100% if he's not 100%, and leave Billy Donovan to make the changes that he needs to make. This starting lineup needed changes. If Zach LaVine can't see that, then I don't know what necessarily is wrong with Zach LaVine. It was absolutely necessary to make changes, and even if the changes don't work out, I will never ever discredit Billy Donovan for making those changes because we needed to see them. And we might need to see more of them in the future. It's as simple as that. But I don't like Zach LaVine calling out Billy Donovan for things like that. I think Zach LaVine needs to focus on his own job, focusing on getting himself right, and see what happens. He needs to start playing like a max contract player. And I know he's had a knee injury. I know he's trying to fight through it. I know he's trying to get back to his old self. But until that happens, I don't think he's in any position to really talk about everything else around the team that is not his control. Focus on something he can control, ladies and gentlemen. That's my personal opinion. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.